let's give like the headsets and those people the benefit of the doubt on this one. And let's operate under this assumption that you may think that Black History Month is okay, but you are terrified of being the person that says it's okay because everything that you're hearing implies that it's not okay. So you're going to play it safe and be like, sorry, we're not doing Black History Month over here. I think that is an argument a lot of those people could ultimately make. I think Trump becomes interesting because he reminds me of a lot of people that I've met at various points where I am not sure how much he likes black people, but he does like the idea or thought that black people like him. Oh. He gets off on that notion and that idea.
On CNN, show favorite Bomani Jones made an appearance and reflected on Donald Trump, black folks, and Black History Month. Let's hear more, and then we'll discuss.
Okay. So he could get Tiger Woods and Kodak Black in the same room to tell him how dope he is. He loves that. His ego absolutely loves that. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. I think I see what's going on here.
Yeah,
and also his belief that he can get more of our votes in all of these things. So that's not something that's wise for him to turn off as the Black History Month thing. The stuff in the offices is one thing. The stuff he can put on television, it makes all the sense in the world for him to do this as he has.
To be clear, I'm a huge fan of Bomani. I think this perspective is needed and holds great weight. Now, before we get to the panel, it should be stated Marcellus Wiley did not like what Bomani Jones said. We will get to what he had to say momentarily. Here's the CNN panel.
In the 2024 election, he got a higher percentage of the black vote than any Republican since Gerald Ford in 76. You look at his approval rating right now, it's high teens, low 20s among black voters. You may say, well, that's low, but it's actually significantly higher than it was in term number one for him. And more than that, look at the long-term trends in terms of party identification. You look at the chart from Gallup, the Democrats, percentage of blacks identifying as Democrats, going down. So, you know, we say all this stuff about DEI, and yes, it splits the country right down the middle. But the bottom line is more black voters are becoming Republican now than they were 5, 10 years ago.
And I think that makes sense because, for black people, not everybody thinks that their racial identity is the most important thing to them.
But then he does things that seem overreaching. I've got issues. I think a lot of DEI has gone too far. I think a lot of Americans feel that way. But to just wholesale across the board say we're getting rid of it and then pressuring private companies and corporations to do so, I also think is a massive overstep the other direction. Yeah. He's going to end up undermining his own gains.
I really do wonder about the fate of HBCUs in this kind of political environment, because the rhetoric on the right is, I think, very much headed in the direction of why are HBCUs around? And I don't think they understand it, and I'm not sure that. Frankly, I'm not sure Trump does.
The smaller ones in particular.
The smaller ones.
And there are a lot of itty-bitty HBCUs that people do not know exist. And they are the ones that are in peril. Yeah, I mean, people know about 3 of them generally.
And thus, now we take a look at what Wiley, who went to the Trump White House, is saying on his platform. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Now, he said verbatim, I am not sure. And then he proceeded to say what Donald Trump believes, or at least his perception of his beliefs about black people. That's harsh. Like, I don't know if you really like white people. I don't know if you really like black people, but that's harsh. But we're going to have a conversation about that because I think it's necessary.
So Marcellus would then throw to this video where the subject states, hey, well, everyone points to the exonerated 5 and how Trump is racist, but what about the AG? What about the chief of police? The DA, the assistant DA, the mayor? But then they threw them up at the DNC. All right, let's unpack that. So I think we need to understand something. The false notion that because someone is a police chief or they are a DA or a mayor or they are assistant DA, attorney general. Like, I'm having a very hard time with this because there is, if you look at LA and New York and Chicago, no one gives more money to the cops to punish black and brown communities than elected officials who are Democrats. It continues over and over and over again. The cycle just keeps repeating itself. So I think when you have clearly folks who are ingrained in the political process and in turn want to remain in the good graces of those who are going to potentially receive donations from very, very wealthy people, you, as we are seeing right now to the most extreme degree, beat to their drum. I really do not like this framing because I personally feel like I am defecting from the Dems because a lot of the time, are they as evil as Trump? No, but they are still evil in so many ways. And the Working Families Party, I think, is an option, but it's just so far behind the eight ball. Because when I see questions like this, and they are being thrown up at the DNC, it's because they are being thrown up to show that they were wrongfully persecuted. And that person has not apologized. They have not accepted responsibility. They continue pushing it. It wasn't long ago when Trump, as president, even said, I still think they're guilty. They're not. They're not. But as we have seen, the DNC serves as a fundraising organization for many. And I see this and I cringe because there's so many ways to talk about this, and this isn't one of them.
By planting your flag, by stating things that you know are obvious, and then stating things as if they are obvious, but it's really just your perception, has now limited our scope and our mobility to get off of certain conversations. One of them being Donald Trump is racist. And if everybody's going to be honest, say what you want about Donald Trump. There was a time where he wasn't perceived as racist. And then there was a time he was. Please tell me between those two times what occurred. Everyone wants to go back to the Central Park Five, okay? But he was deemed not racist, hanging with all these people, black people, celebs, etc., whoever you want to call, after that. Was he not racist? So this is the problem. If you're going to be accountable, if you're going to be real, if you want me to respect you, you're going to have to say something that is real. Answer this question. When did he become racist? And if you go back to the 80s, you're trying to tell me that all these other black people that hung with him, that are prominent, that I'm supposed to listen to when they tell me now he's racist, didn't know it back then.
Here's the problem with this. The argument is he was surrounded by black folks, so he must not have been racist. It is the age-old, I can't be racist, I have a black friend card. Then he touches on the fact he accepted an invite by the Trump administration. So when the world's favorite centrist RG3 tweeted, "Dear world, this is a safe space," stealing from Worldwide Wob, Donald Trump has made some massive and sweeping changes since becoming president of the United States, again with Elon Musk leading the Doge. Do you like what they are doing? Why or why not? Wiley responded, "Love it. Making our government more effective and efficient," not realizing that Elon Musk is stealing our money, parading it as this big cost-cutting initiative, and funneling it to the oligarchs. How it is lost on so many people is troubling. He tweeted on February 21st, 2025, "It was all a dream. Beyond honored," of course, quoting Biggie, "beyond honored to visit the president," real Donald Trump, in the White House, an amazing time with amazing people." Then he'd go on Megyn Kelly and say this.
What's wild, Megan, is the fact that I met Donald Trump twice, and this is pre-politics, so this is when everyone loved him.
Pause it. To be clear, not everyone loved him. There are countless women who say they were essayed by him, workers that were stiffed by him, black folks that said he was racist, Muslim people who say he put a target on their back after lying about 9/11, by the way, the Muslim ban, that was also a thing, Marcellus, and much more. So let's not BS our way through this. Continuing on.
And, you know, I judged the Miss Universe pageant back in 2003.
So there's your biases. He was judging a Trump pageant, the same pageant where he admittedly told Howard Stern he went into women's dressing rooms and, according to a former worker, told underage girls the number of his hotel suite for a clear-cut reason. Onward.
And it was the biggest honor, and everyone was pumped. Donald Trump was in the building. You fast forward a few years, I have a friend who was a member at Trump in New Jersey, and we're out there, and he's just on the putting green. Next thing you know, we're talking. Next thing you know, we're having breakfast together. Best time. You say that now? Oh, dog, what were you doing? Why would you ever want to golf with Donald Trump? Like, it's like, are you shitting me? You haven't even met him. So a lot of times they want to say, well, the policies. I was like, yeah, he's canceling Black history, but he's inviting hundreds of Black people to the White House for Black History Month to celebrate it. So
it's very hard to figure out his racism. Very confusing racism.
That's a crazy way to show you're racist.
Flat out incredible.
Or you could try it my way, which is stop acting like you know it all. You don't. You don't know what that man is about. He invited a room full of Black people. Donald Trump, get back to it and then we can get out of here. That included me. And I'm no token. I wasn't paid to be there. I'm not indebted to him any more than any American citizen is in respect to the honor of the president. And to say that he's racist, and then he shows me and others respect, love, whatever you want to call it, it's just a hard way to prove that someone's racist. I think there are easier ways to see it. I think that's why Democrats lost this election, because they used more of their energy to say what someone wasn't instead of what they were. I think they lost also because they kept trying to play this hate speech. Nobody cares if somebody is something that you don't know. I don't care that you think he's racist. I don't care. Because if he treats me good and if I see him around others and treating them well, I'm fine.
Well, that's just selfish, man. I mean, what are we doing here?